Alright, to start off our Halloween shaker card, we're going to spritz some watercolor paper with just some plain water, and we're going to spray some um, distress stains on top. We're using Uncharted Mariner and Rusty Hinge. And then we're going to add on a little of the Distress Oxide stain or sprays in Mermaid Lagoon and Festive Berries. But I'm going to tap off some of the color with my paper towel. And now I'm adding my oxide sprays in those two colors. And then we're going to spritz with a little bit more water to make that water run. Because anytime you use a spray stain, you have to use water to make it. If you want it to move, you got to use water to make it run. So I'm just tapping off a little of the extra to add some texture into my background. And then I'm going to start building up my layers. So I'm adding some more of the Rusty Hinge and the Uncharted Mariner. And then we're going to take and add in some water. And I'm going to get this to move around. And you ever get to a point where something starts looking good and then you're like, oh, maybe I should have stopped then, but you don't? Yeah, well, this happens today. But anyway, we're going to dry our panel because if you want the spray stains to stop moving, you heat them with water to keep water going. But we're going to keep building up our layers with the Distress Oxide sprays. And then we're going to add in some of the mica spray stains. And I'm using Wicked Elixir, Empty Tomb, Crooked Broomstick, and I believe a little flickering candle, if memory serves correctly. But we're going to just kind of add a little bit of water droplets in there to make some texture in our background. And then I'm going to sop that up with a paper towel. I have some gorgeous paper towel, y'all. It's just so pretty. It's nice and pretty. So we're going to stop our stains from moving. So I'm going to heat set it. This is the point I really probably should have stopped because it was such a cute background. But I didn't. I kept going. I added more. Alright, we're adding some more color. This is where I added the Wicked Elixir. It's that nice pretty green color. And I'm not sure if these are the newest ones. No, I know they're not the newest ones. They were the ones that are re-released this year. Because I've had the worst time trying to get the new colors. So I just went with what I had already ordered and got. So we're spraying water. We're going to move on, let it flow, and just dry it to where I want it to stop. And add some texture with my paper towel. See that in the bottom left-hand corner right there? That texture, love it. Like I'm saying, I should have stopped, but I didn't because that was so pretty. Alright, I'm adding a little of the... I believe that was the Empty Tomb, and then I'm adding in a little bit of our regular stains. That's the Uncharted Mariner, and I just kind of flick some of that on there. I'm going to add some water, move this around, get some good texture going. I mean, don't get me wrong, the card turned out really pretty, but I think I could have really stopped here at this point and had a really pretty, like, night kind of background. So we're drying it, and that's what we have so far. I'm going to add a little bit more of the Wicked Elixir. I love that green color. I think it's so pretty. I think it's super pretty. And I think that was the Crooked Broomstick. Maybe I didn't use Crackling Campfire. Maybe I just used those three. Alright, and so there is a little bit of the Mariner, and then I've spritzed it with water to get it moving. Again, cute background going. Rick doesn't know when to stop, y'all. Add some water droplets, and then I'm going to dab those up with a towel. I'm just using a rag that I got that can go into the washing machine. Just a rag is what we call them in the South. Excuse me. Alright, so I'm drying it, and I'm going to flick on some more water. I wanted a little bit more texture there, so I just took off the lid and just flicked. And pack that up. And dry. Now, when you're drying, make sure you dry the front and the back, because, especially if you're using watercolor paper, because you might think it's dry, and it's really not. Alright, so I've got my card panels done. I've pulled in some sequins out of my stash, and I've cut out the shaker element. And I just cut that out on my Cricut. I have a flat window shaker panel. I can't remember who those are from. I got them from Rabbit Hole Designs. They are called A2 Shaker Acetate Sheets from Rabbit Hole Designs. I'm just cutting down my panel now to 4 by 5 1/4. And then you just fold these over to make your flat shaker card. I already have adhesive on them. Now, I do tell you, they do have a plastic coating on the front you got to peel off. That was the hardest part about this whole thing. Just checking the size. You do want to have your panel the same size as what it is. Then you can put your panel in there and just line it up at the bottom. And then you just fold it over and start sealing your shaker card together. I do mine from the bottom and then the two sides, and then I leave the top open so that I can put my shaker fill in there. Excuse me. So I'm closing off my sides, and then I like to take my bone folder and go around the edges so I have a nice secure sides. So I'm dropping in my little star sequins I had in my stash, and some Mardi Gras color sequins, because, you know, green, gold, purple, hey, they're all good for Halloween. I'm going to close the top up now. And then, y'all might not think so, but I think I put too much in there. Alright, so to secure my skeleton frame, and you can use whatever you have in your stash to make your frame, or just put something on the front. It doesn't really matter. I'm using some tearing tape, and I'm just going around the sides. It's like a 1/4 inch. And then I'll put some pieces behind the skeleton and just tear them and just place them behind there in just a minute. And then I just peel off the backing, and then we can just stick it to the front and add it to our card base once we're completely done. See right here. Okay, so I'm just adding little pieces of tearing tape behind the skeleton. Make sure that you put it where it's not going to be seen. And we're going to peel off all those little backings. Again, you could do like a pumpkin, or just put something on top, like a pumpkin die cut and a sentiment, and call it good. Alright, so this is my trick with any kind of frame. If you'll take and peel back the corners on all 4 sides of your tearing tape, just like so, it's much easier to get onto your shaker card, because all you're doing then is just adhering those couple sides before you really commit, and you still have a chance to move it a little bit before you press it. Don't press it down, just kind of set it on there. Once you get it where you want it to go, then you start pulling off your little strips. And they'll just see how I can move it right there and readjust it. It's because I didn't press it. Learn the hard way, y'all. So once I get it straight, I can pull off those little strips and press it down into place. And my shaker front cover is secure. Super easy, super quick. There's my little shaker card, and I'm going to add it to my card front. Now here, this is my mistake. I added liquid glue to the center first, and I should have done my tearing tape first. I don't know what I was thinking. It was one of those crafty days. Y'all just don't, it was just one of those days, y'all. So I went back, added my tearing tape. Then I'm going to go back and add some more liquid glue because I let it dry. I'm going to press my tearing tape in place. Do that same trick with the edges of the tearing tape. It's going to fold back the sides. And all you need to do there is just enough so that you can get it tacked down. It doesn't have to be super, a lot. Alright, so now we're going to put it onto our standard A2 top folding card base. Get it lined up. And then once I get it nice and lined up, I pull those little strips out, secure it into place. And I have a super easy skeleton shaker card. Alright, that's it for me for this week. I hope you guys have a... Oh, no, I forgot the sentiment. Ha, ha, ha. So we're going to stamp our sentiment. And we're just using the spooky stamp set from scrapbook.com. We're going to stamp a little sub-sentiment. I think it just says Happy Halloween. And I'm just going to do that heat emboss on some black cardstock. I'm going to stamp it in some clear sticky ink. I believe the one that I have on my desk is Simon's Stamp Embossing ink, because I'm too lazy to go over to the desk and go over to the cabinets and get the Versamark out. It's over there. This is on my desk. I've been using it. Alright, so I covered that in white detailed embossing powder, making sure there's no stray bits anywhere. And I'm going to funnel all that embossing powder back into the jar, heat set it with the heat tool until it's nice and smooth and melted, which doesn't take long. And then I'm going to brush off all that excess with just my clean towel. Once it's cool, don't do it while it's wet. Don't do it while it's wet. It will screw up. Make sure it's cool first. Then we're going to cut this down. And then I'm going to take and cut the other side down. And this is my other little trick. If you'll butt up your sentiment strip with a piece of cardstock that's straight, you can line it up nice and easy and get a nice good cut without having to try to align, all that fun stuff. Then we're going to cut just a little banner in, so we're just going to go up the center and up from the sides. Now we can add that to our card front with a little foam tape, because I decided I wanted some foam tape on that and I forgot. Then we're just going to pop it on, and now our shaker card is complete. So if you like this video, make sure you check out the other ones in the Witchy Card Creations Halloween series, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.